What's up, YouTube? I'm back with another video. This is upper airways for my cardiopulmonary anatomy and physiology. Comment, like, subscribe. Let's get into it. Yeah, I printed this one off weird, so hopefully I'll be able to keep track. Conducting airways. Upper airway, nose, oral cavity, pharynx, larynx. Conducting airways, upper airway, nose, oral cavity, pharynx, larynx. Conducting airways, upper airway, nose, oral cavity, pharynx, larynx. Conductor of air, humidify and warm air, prevent foreign materials from entering, speech and smell. Conducting airways, upper airway. Nose, oral cavity, pharynx, larynx. Conductor of air, humidify and warm air, prevent foreign materials from entering, speech and smell. Conducting airways, upper airways. Conductor of air, humidify and warm air, prevent foreign materials from entering, speech and smell. Those are the functions of the upper airways. Conductor of air, humidify and warm air, prevent foreign materials from entering, speech and smell. Nose. Functions of the nose. Filter, humidify, warm. Smell, resonance, and phonetation. Nose. Functions of nose. Filter, humidify, warm air. Functions of nose. Filter, humidify, warm air. Functions of nose. Filter, humidify, warm air. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna fold this so hopefully it makes it a little bit easier for us to see. That's a septal cartilage, septal cartilage, septal cartilage, septal cartilage, septal cartilage, septal cartilage. The vomer is down there. That's the vomer. It's important to know. Vomer. That's the vomer. The vomer. The vomer. Perpendicular plate of ethmoid bone. Perpendicular plate of ethmoid bone is right here. Perpendicular plate of ethmoid bone. This is the vomer. Vomer. Perpendicular plate of the ethmoid bone. 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 This is a palatine bone. Soft plate, soft plate, soft plate, soft plate, soft plate. What else do we need to know on this one? I think that's it for this one. Okay, on to the next page. We got the conchae turbinates, superior, middle, and inferior. This is the conchae turbinates, superior, middle, and inferior is the bottom. Superior is the top, middle is the middle, inferior is the bottom. Conchae, this is the conchae turbinates, superior, middle, and inferior. This is conchae turbinates, superior, middle, and inferior. This is the nares, 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 nares. Hard plate, hard plate, hard plate, hard plate. This is the glottis, 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 glottis. I'll show you a better picture. The glottis is that opening right there. Opens and closes. Those are the vocal cords. Vocal cords, vocal cords, vocal cords. This right here, this flap is the epiglottis. Epiglottis, 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 epiglottis. This flap is the epiglottis. It prevents food from going into the air pipe. This is the epiglottis, epiglottis, epiglottis. Lingual tonsil is on the back of your tongue. The lingual tonsil is on the back of your tongue. Lingual tonsil, lingual tonsil, lingual tonsil, lingual tonsil. This is the uvula. This the tip of the bone that goes in the back of in the roof of the back of your mouth. This is called the uvula, 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 uvula. Soft plate. This is soft plate, soft plate, soft plate, soft plate, soft plate, soft plate, soft plate. This is the Eustachian tube right there. The Eustachian tube, Eustachian tube, Eustachian tube, Eustachian tube, Eustachian tube. This is the pharyngeal tonsil. Kind of in the back of your nose. Pharyngeal tonsil, pharyngeal tonsil, pharyngeal tonsil, pharyngeal tonsil, pharyngeal tonsil, pharyngeal tonsil. Nares, nostrils, vestibule. Oh, I think vestibule. No, it's vibrissae. Vibrissae is nose hair. All right, nares, nostril, nares, nostril, nares, nostril, vestibule, vibrissae, nose hair, vibrissae, nose hair, vibrissae, nose hair, septal, cartilage, stratified squamous epithelium, pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium, nares, nostril, vestibule, vibrissae, nose hair, septal, cartilage, stratified squamous epithelium, pseudostratified ciliated columnar. These are squamous cells. That's what cilia looks like. Cell membrane, basement membrane, connective tissue, cell membrane, nucleus, basement membrane, connective tissue. Take a look over that if you want. I'm gonna skip on to the next page because I'm on a time limit here, I guess. This is the paranasal sinus. Paranasal sinus, production of music, resonating chambers. Paranasal sinus, production of mucus, resonating chambers. Conchae turbinates, superior, middle, inferior. Conchae turbinates, superior, middle, inferior. Hard and soft plate, inferior. Hard and soft plate, inferior. Paranasal sinuses produce mucus. Resonating chambers, paranasal sinuses produce mucus, resonating chambers. Conchae turbinates, superior, middle, inferior, hard and soft plate, inferior. You got the frontal sinus above your eye, frontal sinus above your eye, frontal sinus above your eye. Then we got the maxillary sinus below your eye, maxillary sinus below your eye, maxillary sinus, frontal sinus above your eye, maxillary sinus below your eye, ethmoid sinus behind your eye, the middle of your nose, ethmoid sinus behind your eye, ethmoid sinus behind your eye, in the middle of the nose, ethmoid sinus behind your eye, in the middle of the nose, sphenoid sinus by your ear, sphenoid sinus by your ear, sphenoid sinus by your ear, sphenoid sinus. Oral cavity, vestibule, hard palate, soft palate, uvula, stratified squamous epithelium, palatoglossal arch, palatopharyngeal arch, palatine tonsil. Palatine tonsil is in the back of your throat. Oral cavity, vestibule, hard plate, soft plate, uvula, stratified squamous epithelium, palatoglossal arch, palatopharyngeal arch. Palatoglossal is anterior. Palatine tonsil, oral cavity, vestibule, hard plate, soft plate, uvula, stratified squamous epithelium in the oral cavity, stratified squamous epithelium in the oral cavity, palatoglossal arch in the oral cavity, palatopharyngeal arch in the oral cavity, palatine tonsil in the oral cavity. Palatine tonsil is the thing that hangs in the back of your throat. Palatopharyngeal arch. This is the palatopharyngeal arch, palatopharyngeal arch, palatopharyngeal arch. That's posterior. Anterior is palatoglossal arch, palatoglossal arch. Palatoglossal arch is anterior. It's closer to you, closer to the front of your body. Palatoglossal arch is towards the front of your body, and the palatopharyngeal arch is towards the back of your body. It's posterior. Palatine tonsil is the back of your throat on the side there. Palatine tonsil, palatine tonsil, palatine tonsil, palatine tonsil. This is the uvula bone at the back of your top, at the top of the back of your throat. This is called the uvula. And the palatine tonsil. Palatine tonsil is on the side. Oh, yeah, palatine tonsil is not the thing that hangs on the back of your throat. It's in the back of your mouth on the right and left sides. So the palatine tonsil is not in the back of your throat. Let me correct that. It's not the thing that hangs down in the back of your throat. It's in the back of your throat on the left and right sides. It's called the palatine tonsil. It's called the palatine tonsil. Sorry about that. I'm a newbie. That's nasal cavity, nasal cavity, nasal cavity, nasal cavity. Nasopharynx. This is the pharynxes. Nasopharynx, nasopharynx, nasopharynx is in the back of your nasal cavity. Oropharynx is in the back of your oral cavity. Oropharynx, oropharynx, oropharynx. Laryngopharynx has the epiglottis, the vocal cords. Epiglottis, or laryngopharynx has the epiglottis in the vocal cords. Laryngopharynx, laryngopharynx, laryngopharynx has the epiglottis in the vocal cords. Pharynx, Nasopharynx, posterior nasal cavity. Vomer, superior portion of the soft plate. Pharyngeal, tonsil. Adenoids, Eustachian tube. Pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium. Pharynx, nasopharynx. The nasopharynx has posterior nasal cavity. Vomer, superior portion of the soft plate. Pharyngeal, tonsils. Adenoids, Eustachian tubes. Pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium. On to the oropharynx. The oropharynx has a soft plate superiorly, base tongue inferiorly. The oropharynx has lingual tonsil. Oropharynx has the palatine tonsil. The oropharynx has non-ciliated stratified squamous epithelium. Oropharynx, soft plate superiorly, base of tongue inferiorly. Lingual tonsil, palatine tonsil, non-ciliated stratified squamous epithelium. This is the pharynx. Laryngopharynx, base of tongue, entrance of esophagus. Is the epiglottis, non-ciliated stratified squamous epithelium. Pharyngeal, reflex, gag, swallow. Laryngopharynx is at the base, has the base of the tongue, entrance to esophagus. Epiglottis, non-ciliated stratified squamous epithelium. Pharyngeal reflex. Laryngopharynx is from the base of the tongue to the entrance of the esophagus. Larynx has the voice box, base of the tongue, upper end of the trachea. Function of the larynx: passageway, protective mechanism against aspiration, generates sounds of speech. Larynx, voice box, base of tongue, upper end of trachea. Function of larynx: passageway, protective mechanism against aspiration, generates sounds for speech. Larynx, voice box, base of the tongue, upper end of trachea. Functions of larynx: passageway. Functions of the larynx: passageway, protective mechanism against aspiration, generates sounds for speech. Functions of the larynx: passageway, protective mechanism against aspiration, generates sounds for speech. This is your esophagus, base of tongue, epiglottis, vestibular fold, vocal cords, vocal cords are around the main part, then the other ones are false fake vocal cords. So there's your esophagus. Esophagus, esophagus, esophagus. There's a trachea inside of this guy's throat. Cartilages of the larynx: thyroid cartilage, Adam's apple, largest cartilage, V-shaped notch, thyroid notch, thyrohyoid membrane. Thyroid cartilage, Adam's apple, largest cartilage, V-shaped notch, thyroid notch, thyroid membrane. Thyroid cartilage, Adam's apple, largest cartilage, V-shaped notch, thyroid notch, thyrohyoid membrane, thyrohyoid membrane. Cricoid cartilage, signet ring inferior border attached to first C-shaped cartilage of trachea. Cricoid cartilage, signet ring inferior border attached to first C-shaped cartilage of trachea. Epiglottis, spoon-shaped fibrocartilaginous structure. Vallecula, Epiglottis, spoon-shaped. Fibrocartilaginous structure. Vallecula. Cartilages of the larynx, thyroid cartilage, cricoid cartilage, epiglottis. Cartilages of the larynx, thyroid cartilage, cricoid cartilage, and epiglottis. Thyroid cartilage, thyroid cartilage, thyroid cartilage, thyroid cartilage, thyroid cartilage. This is the cuneiform cartilage, cuneiform cartilage, cuneiform cartilage, cuneiform cartilage. Epiglottis, cuneiform cartilage. Epiglottis, cuneiform cartilage. The cornicula cartilage is right here. Cornicula cartilage, cornicula cartilage, corniculate cartilage, corniculate cartilage, corniculate cartilage. Sorry, I said that wrong the first few times. Arytenoid cartilage. This is the arytenoid cartilage, the arytenoid cartilage, the arytenoid cartilage, arytenoid cartilage, arytenoid cartilage. Arytenoid cartilage, arytenoid cartilage, arytenoid cartilage. Corniculate cartilage and the cuneiform cartilage. Corniculate cartilage, arytenoid cartilage. This is the cricoid cartilage. Cricoid cartilage. Cricoid cartilage. Cricoid cartilage. Arytenoid cartilages, vocal process, vocal ligament, cuneiform cartilages, corniculate cartilages. Arytenoid cartilages, vocal process, vocal ligaments, cuneiform cartilages, corniculate cartilages. This is the vocal cord, vocal cords, vocal cords, vocal cords. Ventilatory function of the larynx. Inspired, vocal folds move apart, abduct. Inspiration, vocal folds move slightly toward middle, adduct. Valsalva maneuver, adduction of laryngeal walls, tight seal, lifting, pushing, coughing, throat clearing, vomiting, defecation. Valsalva maneuver, lifting, pushing, coughing, throat clearing, vomiting, defecation. Ventilatory function of larynx. Inspiration, vocal folds move apart, they abduct. So when you inspire, the vocal folds move apart, they abduct. Expiration, when you inhale, the vocal folds move slightly. Or when you breathe out, expiration. Inspiration, you breathe in. Vocal move, when you breathe in, vocal folds move apart, they abduct. When you breathe out, vocal folds move slightly toward the midline, they adduct. When you breathe in, vocal folds move slightly toward the midline, they adduct. Adduct in, abduct apart. Adduct in, abduct apart. Inspiration, abduct. Expiration, adduct. Expiration, vocal folds. Vocal folds move slightly toward the midline, they adduct. Expiration, vocal folds move slightly toward the midline, they adduct. Valsalva maneuver, adduction of laryngeal walls, tight seal. Valsalva maneuver, lifting, pushing, coughing, throat clearing, vomiting, defecation, Valsalva maneuver. I think that's when you like hold your breath. I'm gonna touch on lower airways because it's gonna have something in here that is very important. I don't want to hit it multiple times because we're gonna need to learn it. It's table 1.1, structure of the lung, generations. Trachea, 0, trachea, trachea, trachea. Main stem bronchi, main stem bronchi, main stem bronchi. Lobar bronchi, lobar bronchi, lobar bronchi. Segmental bronchi, segmental bronchi, segmental bronchi. From the trachea to the segmental bronchi, they all have cartilages airways. After the segmental bronchi, it goes to the bronchioles, terminal bronchioles, bronchioles to the terminal bronchioles, bronchioles to the terminal bronchioles, or non-cartilaginous airways. Respiratory bronchioles, alveolar ducts, alveolar sacs. Respiratory bronchioles, alveolar ducts, alveolar sacs. Respiratory bronchioles, alveolar ducts, alveolar sacs. Respiratory bronchioles, respiratory bronchioles, respiratory bronchioles. Those are sites of gas exchange, alveolar ducts, and alveolar sacs. So it goes trachea, 0, main stem bronchi, 1, lobar bronchi, 2, segmental bronchi splits off into 3, subsegmental bronchi, 4 to 9, bronchioles, 10 to 15, terminal bronchioles, 16 to 19, respiratory bronchioles, 20 to 23, alveolar ducts, 24 to 27, alveolar sacs, 28. Goes trachea, 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 main stem bronchi, main stem bronchi, main stem bronchi, lobar bronchi, lobar bronchi, lobar bronchi, segmental bronchi, segmental bronchi, segmental bronchi, subsegmental bronchi, segmental bronchi, subsegmental bronchi, bronchioles, 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 terminal bronchioles, terminal bronchioles, terminal bronchioles, respiratory bronchioles, respiratory bronchioles, respiratory bronchioles, alveolar ducts, alveolar ducts, alveolar ducts, alveolar sacs, alveolar sacs, alveolar sacs. Trachea, 0, main stem bronchi, 1, lobar bronchi, 2, segmental bronchi, 3, subsegmental bronchi, 4 to 9, bronchioles, 10 to 15, terminal bronchioles, 16 to 19, respiratory bronchioles, 20 to 23, alveolar ducts, 24 to 27, alveolar sacs, 28. That's it. Hope y'all enjoyed. Catch you on the next video. Peace.